Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, so have you ever poured literally all of your energy into a goal? Like you followed all the logical steps, completely dedicated yourself to the outcome, and then just watched it totally fall apart? It's incredibly frustrating, and honestly, it's a wildly common experience. Today, we're unpacking the fascinating and kind of paradoxical problem of why trying so hard to force reality often fails completely. We're pulling directly from the deep teachings of Neville Goddard to decode what's actually happening right beneath the surface of your mind. Let's get into it.
So let's just ask the big question right up front. Why do your desires remain unfulfilled, despite your absolute best efforts? You set the goal, you do the work, you want it so bad. But as we'll see in the sources we're analyzing today, the harder you consciously try to force something to happen, the more you might actually be pushing it away. The answer to this whole riddle isn't about what you're doing on the outside. It's actually about a hidden saboteur operating quietly in the background of your mind.
To understand this hidden battle, we really need to look at the paradox of conscious desire. Think of your mind like a giant iceberg. Right there at the very tip, you've got your conscious desire. That's your surface-level intellectual wish. It's you consciously saying, I want to be successful, or I want to be healthy. But lurking deep underwater is this massive, invisible, subconscious assumption. Our sources point out that there is a huge difference between intellectually knowing something and actually feeling it to be true in your bones. If your conscious desire is saying one thing, but your deep, invisible, inner feeling is broadcasting something completely different, you are totally misaligned.
So, who actually wins that mental tug-of-war? Well, that brings us to the subconscious gatekeeper.
What's really wild is how the source material describes the subconscious. It literally calls it the womb of creation. And here's the kicker. It completely transcends reason. It doesn't argue with you. It doesn't sit there judging whether your thoughts are right or wrong or good or bad. It simply operates like incredibly fertile soil. It blindly accepts whatever seeds of emotion you plant in it, and then it exteriorizes or manifests those exact feelings right into your physical reality. It literally just takes your deepest feeling and brings it to life. No questions asked.
And that realization forces us to look closely at our next area, hidden emotional wounds. These hidden wounds are exactly what lead to blocked manifestations. Think about it. When you're walking around carrying suppressed inner feelings, or, when you're having those silent mental arguments with someone in your head while you're taking a shower, you're not just blowing off steam. By focusing on injustice or a deep feeling of lack, those internal states become the actual blueprint your subconscious uses. The sources explicitly warn that a mental argument is quite literally the surest way to pray for an actual conflict. Your subconscious takes those wounds and assumes, oh, this is the reality they're asking for, completely overriding all those positive affirmations you might have jotted down in your journal.
We really need to pause here for a second, because the source reveals a truly startling fact. It states that emotional disturbances, specifically suppressed inner feelings, are the causes of all disease. Feeling intense injustice without expressing it or resolving it doesn't just block your life goals, it literally causes illness and suffering in your physical body and your surrounding environment. The text is super clear on this. Your body is essentially an emotional filter, and it bears the unmistakable marks of whatever your predominant inner feelings are. So, if you have this strong conscious wish, but you're carrying around deep emotional wounds, what actually happens? Well, we arrive at the rule of all rules. The dominant feeling wins. The author guarantees a pretty brutal truth here. Whenever your inner speech, which is fueled by those deep subconscious feelings, and your conscious desire are in conflict, the inner speech invariably wins. Every single time. You simply cannot outwill a deep subconscious assumption. If you are deeply terrified of losing money, for example, all the external precautions in the world won't matter, because that dominant feeling of fear is going to instruct your subconscious to create loss. And this builds perfectly into another core concept. I am is always, always stronger than I will be. The texts explain that a dominant inner feeling of I am poor or I am sick will absolutely crush the intellectual wish of I will be rich or I will be healthy. And why is that? Because feeling that you will be something is an automatic subconscious admission that you are not that thing right now. And since the subconscious only creates what you currently feel you are in this very moment, I am is the undisputed champion. It always wins. So, how do we stop this subconscious saboteur? We look at aligning your inner state.
The source describes imagination as this ultimate foundational stone. But for this stone to actually support the weight of your new reality, the foundation has to be solid, and it has to be free of suppressed negative emotions. You just can't build a beautiful new life on top of bitter mental arguments and deep-seated fears. You have to clear away those invisible wounds first. You have to grant what the text calls a general amnesty, basically forgiving yourself and others to wipe the slate completely clean so you can truly start fresh.
And here is exactly how you do it, broken down into 3 clear steps. First, deny the frustrating evidence of your physical senses. Yes, your senses are going to tell you that you're lacking, but you have to ignore them. Second, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Ask yourself, how would I feel right this second if my desire was already a reality? Try to catch that specific feeling. And third, use sleep, or just a really drowsy state akin to sleep, to bypass your logical mind. When you're drifting off, your conscious defenses are totally down, and that allows you to slip this new feeling of fulfillment directly into that subconscious womb of creation.
Which leads us with maybe the most important question you can ask yourself today. What are you silently saying to yourself at this very moment? As we've seen throughout this explainer, your silent conversations and your deep, unexpressed feelings are the true architects of your life. So, are your inner words building the reality you want, or are they secretly sabotaging the whole shebang? Take control of your inner speech tonight, and you just might change your entire world tomorrow.